Hello, I thought I would share my medicinals with you, and it's become very relevant as in the last week I have used all of the medicinals for very different reasons. Just before, when I was cooking dinner, I burnt my finger, and so of course water, but the best medicinal for burns is lavender. And the great thing about all of this is you can use one thing for multiple purposes. So the lavender is awesome for burns. I also hear that it's so awesome for burns that they use it in some hospitals. It's a great disinfectant and it's gentle. It's a lot more gentler than the eucalyptus, but the eucalyptus is good for if you need a really strong disinfectant. And I do use this soluble stuff because I use it mostly for washing stuff. But yeah, if something's really infected, douse it in the eucalyptus. It'll sting, but it's so potent. Very Australian, well, very native to these lands. I've also recently discovered I get ear infections sometimes swimming in rivers, and if you pour a little bit of it in your ear, it clears it up overnight. It's amazing because it also is drying as well as a disinfectant. It's just been awesome. That's 2 earaches that I've cleared it up entirely with eucalyptus. It's been great. Another medicinal that has multiple purposes, peppermint. A few days ago I had a sip of rainwater that had bacteria in it, and it made me very sick. And yeah, so peppermint is awesome for the stomach. So it doesn't get rid of the bacteria, my body did that in its own way, but it's very good for stomach aches and things like that. It's also awesome for headaches, and yeah, I've been amazed at how effective it has been for headaches, putting it on your temples and smelling it. I did ingest a bit of this when I had the stomach upset with the bacteria, and yeah, quite literally my body for 24 hours I had a fever and diarrhea, and it was just gone after 24 hours. So the peppermint just kind of helps soothe the stomach. It was so good, so soothing. And another medicinal, so I love tea blends. I blend them myself. This one in particular is my womb tea, which I've also had to use in the last week. It's got calendula, sage and nettle, as well as some rosehip. Really good for the womb. And this one, I just call this my travel tea. It's just a blend that I like, but it's got spearmint that I think is good for travel. It's also good for the stomach because it's got licorice, a bit of lavender, a bit of sage, and some more rosehip. Rosehip's very high in vitamin C, very good for you. Also, I've shared before about my love of coconut oil for everything. Yeah, that's awesome for moisturising. It's also, yeah, good for, like, it's a mild antiseptic. But yeah, awesome for moisturising. And like I have shared previously, I moisturise my shoes, I moisturise my car dash, anything goes. Yeah, it's not surprising because on islands, you know, there's not much, but there's lots of coconuts, so it makes sense that it's good for a lot of things. The last one is a bit of a special one. This is rock fuchsia. It's been used a fair lot, as you can see, and I can't remember how to say its traditional name, but this is a native bush medicine to Central Australia, and again, it's good for almost anything. It's a bit of an antiseptic. It's also a good moisturiser. I hear it's also a bit of a spirit protector. Apparently a sunscreen. Yeah, all of these things I can't say indefinitely, but I've been told. So, yeah, and I find I only actually use it when I'm in Central Australia because it comes from this land and that feels most relevant. So, this is, yeah, all of the medicinals that I bring on my trip, and I think to this day I haven't needed something that I don't have. It just kind of, these things just seem to cover all bases. And yeah, man, that lavender, I cannot say enough. Like, it is so good for burns. I've had burns pretty much heal, yeah, overnight with that lavender. The trick's always to get it on ASAP. Yeah, so quite literally in the last week I've used all of these things. Earache, eucalyptus, burns, lavender, or cuts too actually. Stomachache, peppermint, also good for headaches. Calendula, rosehip, sage and nettle, really good for the womb, for womb time. This is my face moisturiser, coconut oil. It's just so good. And yeah, the rock fuchsia, I have in the past put this on my face and used it as a sunscreen, and I do think that it can be yeah, a good protector, spirit protector. You can also smoke with it, but it's something that I know is very sacred to the custodians of this country, so I generally don't use it much. So that's it for the medicinals, and yeah, that's all you need.